Peter's been the CEO at PPL since 2012, and it's great that he's been able to join me today to chat about the work of PPL, the music industry as a whole, and indeed the enforcement of copyright in music in the UK. So without further ado, hi Peter, how are you?
Hi, very good. Delighted to be with you today. Thank you.
No, not at all. Really good to see you. Thanks so much for joining me. I thought we might just dive straight in. I'm sure those watching and listening would be really interested to hear more about what PPL does in protecting artists in the music industry.
Yeah, well, PPL is a music industry organisation. It's run for the benefit of the record companies and performer members that it has. The idea is we're not for profit. All our licensing income comes in. We deduct our running costs, and all the money is paid out to those record companies and performers moving forward. So really what happens is that any use of music on TV, radio, in public places like bars, nightclubs, offices, factories, that's all licensed by ourselves. And we make sure that we sort of licensing, collect the money in and pay that out to the 122,000 performers that we paid at least once last year, and over 10,000 record companies. And we paid out around about £260 million last year. So it's a fairly sizable operation, and over the years it's become a more and more important income stream for those record companies and performers that we represent. And we also do that overseas as well.
I'm sure a number of people tuning in will be familiar with PPL and are likely to have also heard then of the Performing Rights Society, otherwise sort of known as PRS for Music. PRS for Music being another company involved in rights management. So could you tell us a bit more about the joint venture between PPL and PRS?
Effectively, PPL and PRS were separately licensing, going to the same bar, same restaurant, same shop, the same effectively use of music, but different rights. And so eventually we managed to come together and say that actually doing that together might have some advantages. And so as we go forward, obviously, as you know, Megan, trying to persuade everybody about the rights and wrongs of music licensing is not always that straightforward. I mean, others like BBC licensing, everybody has that sort of issue where we do have to persuade some to make sure that they are paying. And, you know, taking actions for copyright infringement is I think, effectively a part of any rights management organisation like PPL.
From your vantage point, what effect has COVID had on the music industry and indeed the work of PPL?
Yeah, so in terms of PPL's work, first of all, on the licensing side, when businesses were closing, we had to make it very clear that we would not be charging if you had a shop that had to close or a bar that had to close. So we had a range of licensing things to make sure we got clear and straightforward. And to try to support our customers through that. So in terms of enhanced payment facilities, etc. And so that on that side, we were very clear, very quickly, and made that nice and clear to go forward. In terms of the music side, clearly there's been a big impact to our collections with businesses being closed. So that's been a big impact across the industry. There was lots of freelance, but about 3/4 of the music industry is freelance. You've got performers. You've got stage crew, engineers, sound engineers, lighting engineers, and actually a lot of those were just having no work because recording studios were closed, live music was not happening, so it was a massive impact. So one of the things we did at PPL was we were very keen to try and get money out quickly, to look at having more distributions of money that we'd collected previously. And actually over the first of the 13 months, if you like, since the pandemic started, we've paid out, I think, £308 million. We also did a whole range of charitable activity. So we paid out about £1.4 million in sort of charity hardship cause funds.
And I'm wondering if you've seen the music industry adapt and change in the midst of the pandemic. And I guess if it has, if you think those changes might carry on even when we are at some stage back to normal.
Yeah, so I'm fortunate enough to sit on things like the UK Music Board, which is the main trade body across the industry. I think over the last year, apart from the pandemic, a very big sort of focus has been equality, diversity and inclusion. The music industry has got an incredibly diverse set of performers and people working within it, but that's less diverse on the administration side. And so again, that's been a really big focus to see how we can drive that diversity forward. In terms of the trying to work with the pandemic, really was things like trying to help get government support around the sort of getting live back, getting recording studios back. A big area at the moment is things like trade agreements with Brexit. There's a whole range of different world we have to navigate. So trade agreements have to be negotiated. We're quite keen to make sure that we support strong copyright laws. So there's a whole range of activities like that we're always trying to deal with and try to get the strongest economy, sets of rights, etc. moving forward. And and obviously the last year or so has been a tough time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last thing I want to touch on, Peter, is what your hopes, goals, dreams, ambitions are for PPL in the years ahead.
Yeah, for PPL, we've developed ourselves into a strong operator in what we do. We've got some very, very good people. We've got some very good IT. We've got some very good data. So we believe that music is so popular in terms of the use in businesses. We've done a whole range of research about how it increases people's productivity, keeps people happy, increases dwell time in shops, increases propensity to buy in shops. There's a whole range of things that are positive for business. So I think we'll be growing our licensing income both in the UK and overseas. So for us, really, it's a lot of collaboration. It's a lot of actually IT and know-how development and sharing to try and make sure that we're making everything work more efficiently, more accurately. And ultimately, we believe that works well for the strong music environment we have in the UK. And it means our performers and record companies will do better from that work. So there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you're going to be very busy in the years ahead. So, look, Peter, thank you so much for speaking to me today. It's been great to get a behind-the-scenes look at the UK music industry and indeed the work of PPL. And I'm sure those watching and listening will also agree. So thank you again.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Megan.